Okay, I'm going to show you around this roaster a little bit. This is the drum motor. This is our switch panel. The bean hopper. We have an air control. We got the cooling bin with the agitator and cooling bin's fan. What's nice is this has a chaff collector. If you look over here at the larger Diedrich, it's really pretty much the same thing. We got the hopper on top. We have the air control. We got the bin with the agitator. And there's the chaff collector. Look at this one. We really have the same features. This is a 220 model. It uses propane for its gas. We've got a centigrade scale on here, which is fine. We just have a little conversion table so we can kind of check our temps in Fahrenheit so we can go over to the Diedrich. This is the power on. So the drum's on right now. This is the fire. This is a timer. And this is our air control fan. The fan's just always on, full. About 6 minutes into the roast, it switches to about 2.5, and that gives us a good flow rate without cooling the roast too much. And at about 10 minutes, we come fully on. Now for us, that's about 5, so we don't drop temp. We can still ramp up and finish the roast, blow the chaff off. The chaff's going to end up in here. Artisan scope. This is tied in on USB, and it's control. You can do Bluetooth, or we've got a USB connector here. Anyway, fit and finish on this machine is beautiful. I really like the look at it. Our friends at Crop to Cup designed that logo for the ARC roaster. It's got every feature that our larger roaster has. It's got sight glass, it's got the trier, cooling table. Basically when you want to get your beans out, open this out. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to profile some Papua New Guinea, and I'm going to pull beans at probably 13 and a half, 14 and a half, 15 minutes. And then cup those. I just took the chaff bucket off, and that's just a little bit of chaff from the last roast I did. That was a pound. So these are some samples that we get in. You can see they're anywhere from, like 300 grams on up to about 900 grams of coffee, and the only way to do this is in a sample roaster. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the gas on. Under there, and you'll notice on the gas gauge, pressure gauge here, where it's 0, and there's an interlock. That gas won't come on until we, so the unit's on. This pressure won't come up until we press gas. Okay, and that's full. 3 bars is 100%. So we're ignited. I'm going to turn that down to 2 bars. You can watch the temperature climb. I want to get to about 410 degrees before I dump my beans in. Around 200 centigrade, 210 centigrade is where I want to be. A little drawer here. In case you have any beans spill out or chaff, it's good to know if your drum's tight. And you can kind of see up in there, there's the flame. And that's at 2 bars, about 30 psi on the propane. Alright, so at 210 Celsius, we're going to dump the beans and start our timer. We'll get that timing and watch our profile build. Climbing pretty fast. We're on full fuel. So at 210 we're going to dump. Alright, the beans are in. after we dump the beans, you can see the temp drops real fast, and we're cooking off the moisture. So initially it's going to drop down to almost 100 centigrade and then start to build back up. We're still on full fuel and no air. Alright, there's 6 minutes. I'm going to turn the air on. 2.5. We're going to watch that ramp. It'll cool off a little. Yeah, it's still climbing. We'll turn the fuel all the way up. Alright, it was climbing a little fast. It's a hot day today. It's about 95 in here. So I've turned the fuel down to about half. We still have our airflow. And I'm trying to slow that ramp down a little bit. My end temp, I'm shooting for around 220 Celsius, and then I'll start using the tryer at 220. My target is about 13 minutes for that first tryer. So right at about 11 minutes, I'm going to give it full fuel and full air. We're just now starting first crack. I'm going to go ahead and give it the full air right now. Turn the fuel up. So we just passed 400 degrees Fahrenheit at 11 minutes. You can see with the full airflow, we're barely climbing, so I'm going to give it full fuel. We're 3 bars. I want that to continue climbing. Now I'm going to start checking the tryer. That's my first crack, and it's going to take a little out of there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the agitator. And for now, the way I do it is I just manually plug it in. Get that going. So at about 2:30, I'm just going to go ahead and dump. Should be hitting second crack. Might be able to hear it soon. I'm going to shut the fuel down. I'm going to leave the fan on just to help the machine cool off so I don't suddenly shut it off with no airflow. So we got our fire off, fans on, end timer. So we ended about 15:30 for that roast, which is perfect. Those beans look nice. They're not mottled, they're not burned. Nice even roast, they opened up.